Daybreak Nevada at 7:07 on a TGI Friday edition here. We thank you for making us a part of your day. Governor Steve Sisolak had his press briefing yesterday, such as it was. We tried to bring a lot of it to you here on the Nevada Talk Network live and unfiltered so you could hear exactly what the governor had to say. Unfortunately, a lot of it wasn't able to get heard. Somebody who you heard here on this radio station yesterday talking about it is a state assemblyman from Elko, John Ellison. John, can a man talk so much and not say anything? I mean, I hate to be partisan here. I try to keep this show right down the middle, but it's awfully hard not to be partisan when he didn't say anything.
That's it. And the hope that he was going to give these people today was a joke. You know, I hate to say that, but I've seen a lot of nothing. And he did put J.J. Gogachia and Marilyn Kirkpatrick and NACO and some of these on before we lost. I had to call Wheeler to find out, what all was said, because we lost 90% of it on the broadcast. But the problem I see is, gosh dang, when are we going to really take this thing more serious and say, hey, guys, we got to do something, or Nevada's going to be history.
I mean, look, I get it. We have people who are in a certain demographic that are endangered by this. I'm in that demographic. I've got health issues. I'm older, and yet, I'm willing to take precautions. I'm willing to do all of the stuff that they're asking for, and I think up there in Elko, your people are willing to follow the president's recommendations of the social distancing and restricting the amount of people in businesses and all these things. Why is the governor, who has tried to say he's in touch with the president all the time, why is he not willing to follow along with these recommendations of the president?
That's right. And if he'd have done that, hate to say it, if he'd have done that, you'd have seen this state open today. And I'm not saying we need to take any kind of chances. That's far from the truth. But what we do need to know is, if we don't open it up, the full outcry of these people that are shutting down their businesses because you can't get these guys together is going to be a disaster. Total.
I know that the backlash up there in Elko has been severe. We haven't talked about that much. Tell us about Wednesday's county commission meeting where the people were basically up in arms.
They're very upset. I mean, here's people that are losing their businesses, totally shut down. Beauty shops. I think the beauty shops right now is getting hit probably the hardest, more than most, is because they can't draw unemployment. They cannot draw any kind of state funding. So they're out there right now just trying to survive with what they had. And they're dying on the vine. They're actually dying on the vine. And what's scary is it seemed like to me that the word got lost to the state level because they haven't been talking to nobody. And that's one of the big concerns was you've got to talk. He's got some good people. He's really got some good people on that task force. But if you ask me, if it looks like if anybody dies during this time, wow, it's you're back to ground zero, starting all over again. And the problem was we couldn't hear it all. That was even made it worse. I don't know if you heard it all, but here
we had the same issues there. Their signal kept dying. We had to go to another feed, but that feed kept dying too. And it appears that even in our state capital, we talk about how horrible our internet is out here in the rurals. It appears that theirs in the State House is just as bad.
Yeah. Well, it's a tragedy that Las Vegas is going to be a ghost town. He says the 15th they'll start loosening up a little bit. What are you going to do for the summertime when we got people graduating right now? You got ballparks that can't be full because the kids can't go out, and then you got the increase in some areas of the crime has increased. the domestic violence, the suicides. I mean, this thing's getting worse as it grows. So somebody's going to have to take the bull by the horn and say, hey, enough is enough. I wish I knew that, and I wish I was the smartest person in the world. I'm not. But I can tell you I care about our constituents and our people, and right now there's a real problem.
State Assemblyman District 33 John Ellison from Elko. I have to ask you, and this is the thing that concerns me more than anything. It appears that the only line he can draw in the sand, and this is just what I saw in the last press conference, he said, well, it was the legislature that didn't put funding in. That's why they're having such problems with unemployment. He even walked that back at the beginning of this press conference. And
that's not true. And it's totally not true. You had about $2 million when you walked into that thing, or $2 million, $20 million, whatever it was. It was a lot of money, but enough to get this thing moving until the federal money stepped in. But ask him, if there wasn't a bill that wasn't there, why not? Why didn't it come from? And where did it come from? His office or his leadership? No, it was not there. So that is not true.
We got about 3 minutes.
The reason this disaster is the reason these poor people are not getting unemployment at all is because the people that's in there have no clue what they're doing, and they're hiring these new people. Now, the people that are been there a long time, they're hardworking, they're dedicated, but they're overwhelmed by the amount of calls.
I mean,
but that money was there, and he didn't ask for any. So that's unless there's something he sees that I don't, but I call foul.
Yeah, there we go. We got about 2 minutes, John. At least he did acknowledge one thing: is that that the counties are all different. That what we see in Clark and in Washoe and in those counties is different than what's happening out here in the rurals. That's about the only thing he said that I could find that I could even remotely agree with. What about you?
I totally agree, and I've been saying that same statement over and over and over and over and over, saying, hey, guys, you don't understand. What works in Clark doesn't work in Washoe, and Washoe doesn't work in any of the other 15 counties. And that's why I was throwing such a fit the other day with our caucus for them to jump on board with the Western states alliance that they formed. I'll tell you what, not only is there each county different, but just think our states are totally different.
Yeah.
And you cannot jump into bed with the most liberal bunch in the country. I'm sorry to say that, but it's the truth. They have a total different mindset than here in the United States, or in Nevada, I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, if you consider that truly, California is not in the United States. But that's
amen to that.
That's neither here nor there. 30 seconds. What last message you want to leave with the people of the state of Nevada this morning?
Well, what I'm hoping for is please, you guys get out there, write letters, do whatever you got to do to get the governor's attention. They do have some good people working on there, but my biggest concerns right now is we have to get together. If we don't, divided we fall. So it's we've got to get together, and we've got to come up with game plans that's going to work. But you've seen your county. Your county stood up.
Yep.
And I'm proud of them to do that. Not a lot of them are doing it, but just hang in there is all I can say, and try to do the best you can, because right now it's a disaster the way it is, and it's not going to get any better unless we can make some changes right away.
John Ellison, the clock has got us. John Ellison, State Assemblyman District 33. Thank you for joining us here on Daybreak Nevada, where Nevada comes to talk. It is 17 minutes past 7 o'clock.